Mississippi app. We hope you've downloaded that. We're also streaming live for the SuperTalk. I just got distracted by our guest who's joining us today, which is Brian Hadad, a familiar face here on SuperTalk, obviously with Sports Talk Mississippi coming up next, and his very popular Thunder and Lightning podcast, as well as the Thunder and Lightning Live on Wednesdays. But I was also going to say on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station and SuperTalk TV, which you turn to look at. Yes,
yeah,
do you never get to see yourself on the...
I get to see myself, but it's usually just my head. This is a lot more of me.
This is a lot more of you.
I was told once that the more you can get of me on camera, the higher the ratings are. So.
Well, I've always been told the less of me, so, you know.
I don't know.
There you go. I do want to say, someone said, do not blow out the pilot light without turning the valve out. That's dangerous, so recant that. So I don't want anybody getting in trouble or blowing up their house or whatever from me. So I recant that. So safety first or whatever. In fact, you know what? Don't listen to anything I say here on.
It's like that episode of King of the Hill where Peggy Hill's like, when you mix ammonia and bleach, you make a great cleaning solution. Peggy, that's the recipe for mustard gas.
So, yes, again, don't take any advice from me when it comes to things like that. But we do want to keep people safe here. But we also want to have a little fun. We always have a good question here. And today, Brian, ours is, it's summer in Mississippi when? As June the 20th is the first day of summer. So how would you fill in the blank with that?
For me, it's two things. It's does my shirt stick to me as soon as I walk outside? Or for me, wearing glasses, if they fog up on the trip from my house to the car, that's
because that's how cool it's cool in your
I keep it 68 in the house. We keep it, the air conditioner's always running in the car, but at that 20 steps, they get fogged up.
I get that. Yep, and it's definitely summer. But it's also summer, too, when you guys, you and Robbie Falk with Thunder and Lightning get back out and trek across the state for your catfish tour, which Rhino and I are pretty salty about because we have said, why can't we get some kind of tour? I even heard Lance and Paul say that they would do like a breakfast tour since they're up early in the morning.
We need to get you a tour.
We want a Bloody Mary tour, but I'm not really sure that is going to...
That's tough for radio.
That's tough for radio, but I'm still putting it out there.
End of the show, you're like, it's Rebecca Turner. Good
it's only an hour.
I'm just saying, those things can be stout.
So, I know. Okay, so the Catfish Tour, though, this is something cool. This is the second year that you guys have done this. How do the two fit so well? What you guys do on the podcast, then obviously your love of food and catfish.
Well, we just started talking about it. It's one of those things that just sort of born out of thin air where we were talking about, like, it would be cool to go around. There's so many great little places in this state. It would be good to go around and do it. And then we made that relationship with Superior Catfish, who, of course, we have a great relationship with them here at SuperTalk. They're the host of, they sponsor Steve Azar's show. And you're welcome, Steve, by the way. I made that happen. It's cool if you want to send me a gold record or something. And it just kind of blossomed from there, and we had a really good time doing it last year. We went to 5 locations plus the Neshoba County Fair, which was I'd never been. Being a Mississippian, never going to that, but I can cross it off the list now. So we were really keen to do a second year, and that's what we're doing this year. And we started last week at Obie's in Starkville. We kept it close to home, and we'll be out all around the state over the next 2 weeks. And then we're taking a little break, and then we finish up on the 12th of July.
I know y'all are coming back this way in central Mississippi next week. Where are y'all hitting up next week?
Next week we will be in Flowood at the Fannin Mart to enjoy some Superior Catfish. This week, tomorrow, we will be in Boyle, Mississippi. Do you know where that is?
Not boiling, but
no,
Boyle.
It may be boiling hot.
It may be boiling hot, but not yet.
But no, it's about 10 minutes from what I can tell south of Cleveland. So we'll be in the Delta tomorrow.
Oh, it may be hard to beat that catfish.
It should be. So it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to the Catfish Cabin. If you're in the Delta area tomorrow, please come out and join me and Robbie around lunchtime. Get some catfish and hear a little MSU sports and about a great Mississippi company in Superior Catfish.
One of the best things about our small Mississippi towns is there's about a catfish house in about every one of them, right? That has sort of their own take on something that's so familiar. It's just your catfish, your hush puppy, French fries, coleslaw, but then it's not, right? Like it's kind of the same thing with fried fish. So now that you've kind of been around and had a few plates, like what is it that makes it the same but then different everywhere you go?
Everybody's breading is different. Some places it's like really crispy. Sometimes it's not. It's like sometimes it's like a cracker. It's like you get real crunch when you're in there. But sometimes it's just as nice, light, soft. But it still has some crunch to it. The way they season it, some people a little heavier handed with the Cajun seasoning. Some people keep it pretty simple. But every place we've been to, I would go back to the catfish there, if not more.
What about the sides?
I'm not a big sides guy. I'm not slaw. I don't like beans. I'm not really big on French fries. When we went last week to Obie's, they know me in there because I'm in there at least every other week getting catfish, and they were just like 2 cheese toasts. I was like, yes, that's my 2 sides. I just get 2 pieces of cheese toast. I make a little catfish sandwich out of that.
No hush puppies?
I don't like hush puppies.
What about tartar sauce?
No, absolutely not. Hot sauce, though. I'll put a little Tabasco or a little Crystal on there.
My grandmother just rolled over in her grave.
Well, I'm sorry. What?
Granny Smith.
Granny Smith. Is it really Granny Smith?
It was Granny Smith.
Did she invent the apples?
My dad is also John Smith.
Is he? Oh, there you go. Well, I'm sorry, Granny Smith. I don't care for tartar sauce, though.
Well, she made the best, and we've always been told
delicious.
that she should sell it. Like, we should have sold her recipe. My mom still has taken over that recipe.
I'm just telling you right now, if you bottle up Granny Smith's homemade tartar sauce, people will buy it.
Yes, they will buy it, just not Brian Hadad.
No, I wouldn't buy it. Well, my wife likes it.
Yeah, so you buy it for somebody else, not for that way.
My mom would enjoy it.
Do you put your hot sauce on the fish or in your ketchup?
I don't eat ketchup.
What?
No, ketchup is horrible.
Are you born in Mississippi?
I was. I am. Yes. And just put it on the fish.
Just put it on the fish. Okay. So we like the hot sauce in the in the ketchup, and then you
I don't like ketchup. Wow. I'm not a condiment person by and large.
You're complicated.
It's funny. You think I'd be skinny, as picky as I am, but I guess what I like to eat, I eat a lot of. So.
Well, and you also like to cook. When it starts to get hotter outside, do you change your grill? Like, does your menu at home change? Like, do you have the recipes and all change?
No, I mean, you don't want to do like a chili or a gumbo when it's hot like this. But I try to go out and grill every weekend if I can, whether it's hot or cold outside. I always say, if it's cold outside, I'll stand by the grill. It's hot there, and I'll just go back inside. It's warm in there, so I try not to unless it's raining. I'll be outside cooking most weekends.
With your family, which I love, you've got 2 girls, right?
Yeah,
I have 2 girls.
Yeah.
You have an Emily. I have an Emily.
Yes.
Spelt differently, but
is it?
And
what do you have?
I have 2 E's.
2 E's. I got a Y.
Emilee after her dad.
I have a Y.
After a Y. And how old's your Emily?
She literally turned 15 2 days ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have a 4-year-old going on 15.
Okay. I got you.
Sort of feels like. So you shared a story about getting her balloons for her friend at cheer camp the other day on SportsTalk Mississippi. And when I tell you, so that's not my Emily. My Emily's still sweet and respectable at 4. It's the 11, almost 12-year-old.
Yeah.
That when you described walking in and she looked at you like you had...
Yeah. When I'm doing the thing that she had asked me to do.
I thought, that is so relatable.
It's just every teenage girl... My oldest daughter is autistic, so really my youngest daughter is my first teenager, and so I just take the punches as they come. So
was it? And I wanted to ask, did you get the look because she was embarrassed that you brought the balloons in and didn't bring them to the side? Did you ruin the surprise for the friend?
No, it wasn't a surprise. She told me later that she just thought she was trying to act surprised that she didn't think I was coming. When I told her, I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I don't know why she would think I wasn't going to do it, but I think she was embarrassed just because I'm her dad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what mine would have been. Oh, you're embarrassed that I walked in with the balloons.
Yes.
Like, not that I brought the balloons, not that I'm here, but that I walked in like,
I should have just snapped my fingers and the balloons appeared, and that would have been easier for her.
Or somehow been able to sneak them. But yeah, navigating that teenage world. I'm gonna let you go first because you're about 3 years ahead of me. She's almost 12, so you take notes for that.
Sure.
And then let us in on.
Yeah, if you have a question, you know what to do. Just hit me up, and I'll be like, I don't know.
So when you're not watching sports or soccer, which I know that's something you and Rhino definitely. Oh, speaking of soccer, we've got to start a GoFundMe to get him to the World Cup that's coming. What is it, next year?
2026, yeah.
So we got to figure this out.
Why does he get to go? I don't get to go?
I'm sure. I have a feeling you're already going to.
I wasn't planning on going, but if we can get money, if we can get other people to pay for it, Rhino, I'm all in for that.
So I'm going to need. So we need to start this. This needs to happen because.
So basically, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Sponsor.
Are we going to see the Americans, or do you want to? Is there another international team you want to see?
Well, we have the pathway for the Americans. It just depends on if they get first in the group or second in the group as to whether or not they're going to be in certain places.
Okay.
But I imagine those tickets will be incredibly difficult to get, and we'll have a lottery.
We're going to go see Hungary versus Ecuador.
We could go to Jerry's World or over to Atlanta or something.
They're in Nashville.
Are they at LP Field?
I think they're going to be at the new stadium. That's supposed to open by then. So.
I don't care where y'all go, but the World Cup cannot come on U.S. soil and Rhino not be able to at least stand outside and hear the chants and cheers.
It'd be like those girls who go to the Taylor Swift concerts and just stand on the bridge. I think there was a goal, Rhino. I think we scored.
I would be happy because as much as I know he appreciates the sport and follows it, to know that it came this close, that would be like when the Olympics are coming back, aren't they, in 20?
I think it's the next round.
The next round they may be back here, and that would be something I couldn't imagine if I had the opportunity. But they'd come around here to the United States more than the World Cup does. You got to run off. I know you're going to take this chair in a couple minutes.
I am.
All right, well, stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.
But I can only get so fat.
We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. Hope you have downloaded that. Of course, you can always find us, too, on that local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget to watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see a friendly face and a familiar face on TV. No, it's not 3 o'clock just yet, but Sports Talk Mississippi is coming up next. We got Brian Hadad. I saw him walking in the hall, and I said, "Hey, buddy, just come in, sit down, and catch up." We don't ever get to, we're on the air, bookends to each other, but you're always in Starkville. We're here, and so even though we're a family, we never really get to see each other. So
that's kind of how family is, though.
The good kind.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't trying to say that. I was just saying. I was telling Alex before. I just moved my mom up to Starkville after what an ordeal that's been for the last 20 years trying to get her to move, but finally got her up there, and I thought she's seen her grandchildren more in the last 2 weeks than she has the previous 10 years, probably.
Yeah, you're going to really enjoy that.
I already am, so yeah.
And
nice.
We were talking about family. I love that your family does a little things different when it comes to vacations that you share often. You guys pick a different city to go to instead of just mountains or beach, which there's nothing wrong with that if that's your flow and your family enjoys that. But you guys go into the great unknown, which would give me incredible hives to sort of think about, like not knowing where to go or sort of the routine. How did that start?
Well, it started with the first family vacation I remember taking outside of Disney World, which never again.
You should do it once.
I've done it twice, and that
was 2 times.
I'm done. I'm tapping out. We went to New Orleans, and I mean I know my way around New Orleans. Been there many times. It was a lot of fun. And it's just become a thing where it's like, let's go some different places. I think one year it was we wanted to go somewhere where it wasn't hot. So we went to New York, and that was a lot of fun. And then we went to St. Louis a couple of years ago, and that was a really good time. St. Louis was a lot of fun. And then this year we let our oldest daughter pick for her graduation gift, and she picked Denver. There's a YouTube creator there who has a museum is not the right word. It's like this interactive thing. I went to it, and I've never done any kind of illicit drugs, but that must be what it's like walking around in there. I was just like, what is this? But she was having a great time. So, yeah. But it's funny you said the mountains. We went to Denver, and we went up in the mountains, and we went up and toured Rocky Mountain National Park, and I've never seen mountains before. It was really, really cool. I had a funny moment where they were like, we're going to see some lakes. And I was like, lakes? Great, it's March. Lakes. Yeah, frozen ice is what it was. Everywhere I was like, oh, yeah. You say lake to a Mississippian in March, I think nice green fields and little deer coming to drink out of the lake. No, just a frozen pond.
It's not a pond, but they're bigger. I got to go to Denver in October, and it's still snowed. Everything snowed.
It's crazy.
Over. We're basically still walking around in shorts and flip flops and all the things sort of here. Do y'all have a formula to it though? Because when you go, talking about like the sights to see or not knowing what, do y'all have like we're going to go to some main attractions, but also try to find some hole in the walls? Like how do y'all put your trip together?
We're big museum people. We like to find a museum, natural science or whatever, and do that. And we love zoos. I at my advanced age still like going to the zoo. So we try to do that. And then for restaurants, we always tell like everybody gets one pick that we lock in. So like hey, what do you want to eat one night? We want to eat this. Like my youngest daughter, she wanted to eat Asian food. So like we found a little place that served dumplings and stuff, and so that was her place. I wanted to go to this steakhouse, so we went to that. And we just try to be democratic about it as best we can. And then the rest of the stuff we just plan out is based on what we know we like and don't like and try to have fun.
How do you pick your city?
Yeah, just kind of randomly. I mean, it really is, we have a debate, and sometimes we'll pull a name out of the hat sometimes. Just try to make it, and everybody just has to go along with it. So.
Oh, that's fun. Like everybody bring a city to the hat, put it in, sort of thing. What's the next Hadad vacation?
I believe we're going to Chicago next summer.
Fun.
And my wife's a big Cubs fan. She wants to finally go to Wrigley Field. I am not a Cubs fan. I'm a Giants fan. So I said, let's try to see if we can get the Giants and the Cubs next summer and go up there for that. So.
I always thought that I was going to do my graduate school in Chicago, but I met a boy. In a bar.
We ruined everything.
Y'all ruined everything.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize for all of us.
But almost 17 years later of marriage, I think it worked out pretty fun. And
yeah.
I have visited Chicago a couple of times, and I probably wouldn't have survived. It's probably the Lord knew that little girl should stay not in big city. And
there you go.
But it's absolutely good to visit. I don't know if I could have. I'd figured it out probably.
Yeah, you would have been fine.
I would have been fine, sort of eventually. Yeah. I think. Hopefully. Maybe so. One of the other things I love about you, Brian Hadad, is your love of wrestling. So I grew up, my parents
I'm going in a couple weeks.
Did not watch wrestling, but my best friend in high school, she had 3 older brothers and a dad who was obsessed with it. And I can still remember walking in, Dumb and Dustpan!
Yeah.
And all the things and watching Wrestling Mania and it just being the whole thing.
Yeah.
So how have you just stayed with it all these years?
I got away from it for a while. And then when the new company AEW came back, I got back into it because I just wanted something different. And I've really enjoyed that. I'm going to see a live show on July 6th that's in South Haven. And then later in July, they're in Nashville. And my daughter and I are going. My oldest daughter, I don't even know how long, she has a lust for blood. If the wrestling isn't the most violent steel chair, broken glass wrestling, she'll ask me, she'll be like, is this a death match? No? Okay, you come get me if somebody gets busted open. And so the one we're going to in Nashville, there's going to be a 20-foot high steel cage match. And she's
out for blood.
Oh, she wants to see it. She's excited.
I love it. Next time you need to bring her.
Oh, I'll do it.
You guys stick with us. You got Brian Hadad and the other guys coming up next with Sports Talk from 3 to 6. Rhino and I will meet you back here tomorrow at 2. But until then, I hope you all find time for the good things.